Thank you all. Pleasure being here again. It's nostalgic every time I come back here because my daughter went to preschool right here in this room. So it kind of brings back memories every time I'm here. Been very busy at City Hall in the few weeks we've been down there. A lot of interesting issues coming up, all the way from helping Kiwanis get their sign put back up out here after a overzealous code enforcement officer decided that the Kiwanis Christmas tree sign should come down. We had to put that back up. We've been out on our kayak on the river doing an estuary cleanup and helping get all the trash out of the river, which has been a very fun and dear project to me, being the outdoorsman that I am. Today we actually had a call from a constituent who had a burnt out mattress dropped in their front yard. We called the city's people to pick that up. They said it's going to be 2 to 3 days, so one of my staffers and I got in my truck and just went over there and picked it up on the way home from work. So it's that hands-on approach that we're trying to bring to City Hall. Had some interesting votes with Sandag appointments and and Port Commission appointments and vetoes and all those types of things. So we've been very busy down there. The whole focus and what I want to do at City Hall is bringing customer service back to City Hall, back to the City Council, back to the neighborhood. That's what I've known for 20 plus years in the private sector, so that's what we want to bring to City Hall. With that, our door is always open. Call, stop by. Our website is up and running. We were the first ones to get it up and running, even though it took a few weeks. Sorry for the delay. And with that, I just wanted to ask and see if there's any questions that anybody had for me while we're here. Start right here in front row.
How do you like it now that it's been in there 2 months?
It's different.
Yeah, I bet it is. I bet it is.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting mix. I'm liking it a lot, actually. We have a very, very good staff. They make my job seem very easy at this point. Things move at a different pace. Yeah, I'm used to getting things done fairly quickly, and it just seems like there's another layer of bureaucracy that it has to go through every time.
Hang in there, you can do that.
Yeah. Well, to give you an idea of where I come from, in my office we made a sign that says City of San Diego, has a big symbol up there, District 7, and underneath that it says Department of Common Sense. And that's really what we hope to bring down to City Council. Just some common sense practices and approaches to solving our problems, and try not to get caught up in all the partisanship. Yes, sir.
Well, I think it's a real blessing that we have a councilman from our area, from Allied Gardens. I really appreciate that. The last two were from Terrazana, and we had very, very, very poor representation. Everything that we tried, our community that we didn't want to have, they just overrode us. And we had a real bad experience this last week with the Planning Commission, the same thing.
Yeah, that was a big one.
They are just, they're so focused one way, they don't even listen to what we say. They just ignore us. And I think there has to be some...
That's going to be a tough road, too.
There's got to be some changes there.
Did you get your parking validation while you were there?
Yes, we did.
Okay, good.
And I thank you very much for that. But the thing is, I just pray and hope that we will get some help from you. And maybe you can convince some of your other...
We're going to do what we can. I have a feeling the writing's on the wall for the project that's going to be going over here.
Yeah, because it's just, you know, we were just totally snowed under.
Yeah, the Planning Commission voted, 6-0.
They just ignored us. They didn't even care. And then the stuff they showed, the quality was so bad you couldn't see it, we as individuals, and they had no comeback to us as far as, they go to the commissioners and say, do you have a response? Oh yeah, they wouldn't give us a chance.
Right.
So, it was a...
Again, that's part of the process and how it works. And
anyways, I just wanted to voice that. But again, I thank you for being our representative, and we appreciate, because it sounds like we're going to have some real common sense in our community.
We're going to do it.
And you're going to listen to us, I hope and pray. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
For a number of years, the intersection of Princess View and Fontaine has had a sinkhole, and the city keeps filling it with asphalt.
You writing this down, John?
And from the little bit of rain that we've had, within the last couple of weeks, a dimple now is starting to form, where they keep putting the asphalt. And we know the pipes are broken, and they said that...
pipe underneath the street there?
Yeah, under the street that whole way. And so when every time it rains, the water just washes more stuff away.
Well, I happen to know exactly where that is, because I lived
Yeah.
right on Fontaine here for a little while. We'll start, thank you for bringing it to our attention. We'll get a hold of the people at the city and try and look into it as best we can.
Okay.
Try and get working on it. Those things are
I'd hate to
I
have
love
a
that.
car, you know, I always go around,
Right.
but I see people go over and, you know, sometimes they're gonna have their wheels stuck
Yeah,
into
well,
that
I
hole.
ride a motorcycle around here a lot, and it's a three-wheel motorcycle, so you feel every single bump, so.
Yeah, okay.
Well, we'll start looking into that one right away.
On that same note that Chuck was talking about, do you know any of those planning commissioners or?
Not personally, no.
Okay, I did give a letter to John, a 4-page letter. I don't mind if these projects are rejected and how it goes down, but the mannerism in which these people dealt with the public was very poor. I don't mind if they vote it down, but all they have to do is say yes or no on a vote and do it. They don't have to completely slam people for coming forward and speaking how
And
they feel.
speaking how they feel, yeah. And along those lines, when this comes before council, I suggest all of you who are concerned is come down to the city council, make your voice heard, because a lot of times, depending on how persuasive your argument is, you can sway minds on the city council. With that being said, with the 6-0 recommendation, I have a feeling it's probably going to go through council pretty quick. I will try and work to mitigate as much, as we can, but it's probably going to go through. Yes, sir.
How will you vote for that project?
I'm probably going to vote in favor of it.
Why?
We give a lot of lip service to being in favor of seniors and improving the quality of life for seniors. Navajo is a very large, growing senior population. I'm not a big fan of rezoning properties to fit what developers in that want to do. However, it would be kind of disingenuous of me to come up and say, I want to help seniors, but at the same time, I don't want to help them in my backyard. When we work with the developers and do everything we can to make sure that it doesn't get out of control, probably so. But it doesn't sit right with me to come out and say, I want to help seniors, but not here. I mean, it's a perfect location. You've got the hospital down there, you've got the park, you've got the library, you've got the stores. And I know there are some parking issues, and we're going to work as best we can to try and mitigate and solve those issues. But I'm probably going to be heading down that road. I'm leaning heavily in that direction. Yes, ma'am.
Then why can't we get some, if I don't live here, but I've listened to all of it, I'm a kind of an outsider
Yeah.
looking in. And my question is, why can't somebody in San Diego be building that instead of a corporation that's not here?
Right.
That's the thing that bothers me probably more than anything. I don't think that's right.
And that's a concern of mine too, that it's not a local
Yep.
firm.
Yep.
However, when it comes right down to it, it is a senior facility.
Yeah, I agree.
It's gonna be a senior facility for 55 years,
Mhm.
which means it's not gonna be turned into a dorm 10 years from now, and all the kids from San Diego State will come over here and change their things. So it's a very tough one, and I've got all the signatures from Maryland, I've listened to all the testimony, and I've searched my heart pretty hard. I mean, this is a tough one. I mean, I know a friend of mine I've had for 45 years across the street over here will probably not be very happy with my vote, but. No, she won't. But I have to do what
Yeah, that's right.
I feel right to do, and I live 2 blocks down the road, so, if there's any effect, I'm gonna feel it as well. Yes, ma'am. Be right
But
back.
if the representative group of the community has an opinion and it's expressed so clearly, I thought you were supposed to represent that, not yourself.
And that's a very good question, and I listened to the people in the community, and it's about 100 and some odd signatures that were gathered. And if I go to a broader sense of the community, that there's more support, I think, than there is the people who don't want to see it. And let's face it, most of the people who don't want to see it are, like I am, real close in proximity. It's one of those things, it's a tough vote, but I have to go with what I think is right. Back here, Chuck.
Well, you talk about the old people that are going to be there. You gotta realize, and I know you realize, that you've got all these people in the community here are elderly people. You've got many of them that spent all their life here.
Right.
Now, we're talking about bringing these people in, which will then they're gonna have some sort of a subsidy through this thing. The people in this community live here, and they're elderly people, they're getting no damn subsidy at all.
Yeah, and-
So I think you ought to look at your heart a little bit about that, because you're talking about elderly people. I don't happen to live here, but I feel for the people who do live here.
And I understand that a great deal. I also have friends who live in the community, whose parents have lived in this community since the 50s. And they're at the point now where they can't take care of their house anymore. They can't stay in the house. They're looking for a seniors type facility to be in. And there's nothing close by. They're having to leave the neighborhood that they grew up in and built their lifetime in to go to La Mesa or El Cajon or Palm Desert or wherever to get.
Will they get on the list to be in there first?
I want to try to make it that way. So
Is it going to be a part of the program?
we'll find out. We're going to be lobbying for it.
You could have that as a condition for the approval.
I have a hard time putting it as a solid condition. It's something we'll definitely lobby for. But to say that some people who don't have the means in other areas can't utilize it here, I don't like exclusionary type things. Yes, ma'am.
What constitutes senior? What identifies a senior? When you say senior living, what's the age group we're talking about?
55 and above.
Okay, that's what I thought, 55 is not elderly, 60 is not elderly.
It's 5 years away from me.
Yeah, you're not elderly, when you're talking about your parents, how old are your parents? Now that, I probably would put that in an elderly, my mom's 75, she's nowhere near elderly, she's still running, she's still working, so,
Bless her.
so a lot of people that this is supposed to be designated for, if it were truly for the elderly, I think people would be a little bit more sympathetic towards that, but we're not, 55 is not elderly.
Yeah, it's retirement age for a lot of
And
people.
true, you don't even 55 doesn't even give you a discount at the restaurant anymore, you gotta be 60 and 65.
Wait a minute, I'm 49. I'm already getting AARP Synergy
This isn't
stuff.
about you though, this is about our community, so, as you know, I think,
It's a tough one. It's just a very
I
tough
really don't think, I think the majority is against it. I don't know where your statistics are, but we've been coming in day out with these meetings, and I really feel the community, the majority of this community does not want this. So I don't know where your statistics are coming from. I disagree with that.
Yeah, and again, that's why I suggest and recommend that everybody come down to the city council meeting and express your concerns. I really do.